In this video, we are going to be representing ratios by equations. So the value of a ratio represents the relationship between two quantities. It can be written as an equation. So what is an equation? An equation says that two things are equal, and it contains an equal sign. So here I have a ratio table, and I'm going to take a look at my hours worked, and I'm going to see the relationship to the amount of money that I'm earned. And the process is, how do I get there? So if I look at 1 and I'm trying to get to 9, I know that I am multiplying by 9. And then to get from 3 to 27, I'm also multiplying by 9. From 6 to 54, also multiplying by 9. 8 to 72, also multiplying by 9. And then to get from 0 to 0, I would also multiply by 9. So then over here, it says, describe the relationship between hours worked and money earned. Well, I know that if I work 1 hour, I'm multiplying it by 9 to get $9. I know that if I take and work 3 hours and multiply it by 9, I get $27. If I work 6 hours and multiply it by 9, I get $54. If I work 8 hours and I multiply it by 9, I get $72. So my relationship between these two would be this idea that whatever I have for hours worked, I'm multiplying it by 9 to get the amount of money that I'm making. So my relationship would be my hours multiplied by the 9 equals the money that I'm earning. And so now I'm going to write an equation that represents this relationship. So I'm kind of taking this idea that I just came up with here, and I'm going to turn it into an equation. So in doing that, I take and says use my H for hours worked. So here's my hours. So I have H, and I am multiplying my hours worked always by 9, and that is equaling the money that I'm making. And it says here use M for the money earned, so it would be M. So my equation would be H times 9 equals M. Or I could rewrite it so that I don't mistake my multiplication sign for an X. I would take 9, and then I would take my H and put it right next to it because that means multiplication, and then equals M. So my equation here would be H times 9 equals M, or 9H equals M. So 9 times the hours that I'm working equals the money that I am earning. So another situation here. Again, we have 5 chores for Todd is earning him $3 on his chore chart. So again, I'm taking a look at how do I get from chores to total amount of money. Well, when I go from 5 to $2.50, I'm dividing by 2. 10 divided by 2 gives me 5. 15 divided by 2 gives me $7.50. 20 divided by 2 gives me 10. And 25 divided by 2 gives me $12.50. So when I look at my relationship between the two, I take 5 divided by 2 gives me $2.50. 10 divided by 2 gives me $5. 15 divided by 2 gives me $7.50. 20 divided by 2 gives me $10. 25 divided by 2 gives me $12.50. So my relationship here is that each time I take my chores, I am dividing that by 2 to get my money that I'm making or that Todd is making. So now I'm going to use that to create my equation. And when I do that, the first thing it says is use C for chores. So here's my chores. So I'm going to use C. And then my relationship here is that each time I take my chores and I'm dividing it by 2, and that is equaling my money. And it says use M for money. So C divided by 2 equals M. Or I could write it this way. I could have C divided by 2 equals M. So my amount of chores, which is C, divided by 2 gives me my amount of money, which is M. So my equation is C divided by 2 equals M. Next one here is a cleaning solution. It can be made by mixing bleach and water. So again, I want to take a look at what my relationship is. So when I go here, I'm dividing by 3. Again, dividing by 3, dividing by 3, dividing by 3, and again, dividing by 3. So describing the relationship, I would take 3 divided by 3 would give me 1. 6 divided by 3 gives me 2. 15 divided by 3 gives me 5. 9 divided by 3 gives me 3. And 1.5 divided by 3 gives me a half. So my relationship here would be that each time I take my bleach, I divide it by 3 and I get my water. So bleach divided by 3 gives me the amount of water that I need. So again, I'm going to use that to make my equation. So it first says use B for bleach. Here's my bleach. So B, and then my relationship would be that I'm dividing by 3, which it says right here. And then the next part is that I'm using W for water. Here's my water. So equals W. Or like we've said before, I could take my B, divide it by 3, and that gets me my W. So my equation is my B divided by 3 equals W, or bleach divided by 3 equals water. And my last one here says a florist shop is preparing bouquets of flowers to sell over the weekend. In a bouquet of flowers, the shop uses 3 roses for every 9 carnations. So again, I want to look at my relationship here. And as I go through my table, I'm multiplying by 3, multiplying by 3, multiplying by 3, multiplying by 3 for all of them. So now when I look over here, I'm taking 1 times 3 gives me 3. 2 times 6, or excuse me, 2 times 3 gives me 6. 3 times 3 gives me 9. 4 times 3 gives me 12. 5 times 3 is 15, and 6 times 3 equals 18. So my relationship here, when I take a look at these, is each time I am multiplying by 3. So I'm taking my number of roses, I am multiplying by 3, and I am getting my number of carnations. So now, again, I'm going to use that to create my equation. So again, I'm going to use R for roses. So here's my amount of roses right here. And then my relationship is that I am multiplying by 3 each time. And then that equals my amount of carnations. And I'm using C for carnations. Here's my carnations. So I will put C here. And again, we talked about before that my multiplication sign may look like an X in my equation. So I'm going to change this to 3. And I'm going to multiply it by R, which is my roses. And that is going to equal my carnations, or C. So I have R times 3 equals C, or 3R equals C. So 3 times the number of roses equals the number of carnations.